everyone, Zelrand here, and for today's video for Girls Frontline 2, we're going to go ahead and talk about Alva, or AN-94. We have her kit out now. This is the kit without the numbers, so we'll have to wait till she releases on Tuesday next week to kind of go over the actual numbers for this kit. But this is pretty much going to give us a good idea of how she's going to work. And then when I get back from my vacation, I leave next Wednesday, I'll be able to go over all of her numbers and how well she's working within the meta, as the people will have been testing her out on the CN side at that point. And so let's just go ahead and get right into her kit here. So first thing we have here is Alva is a support class doll who can enter a support mode to launch interceptions. So she's just like Macchiato in that she does interceptions and deploy the shield winter barrier for allied units. And then, so just another shield user. Like, that's a big part of the Frost, is they have shields and they have a lot of mechanics tied behind having a max HP, so she's just another way to top up their shields with that. And then she can convert all existing shields on allied units into Frost Ward Barrier, which boosts the wielder's freeze damage based on the total shield value. So that, we'll have to see the actual numbers on that, but that could be huge. We already know how beefy that Suomi shields are, but they're so beefy and she's such a good sustain. It was over the top. You didn't need that level of sustain. Now it's converting that sustain into some form of damage. We'll have to see what the numbers are, but that could be really, really good. I mean, the entire ice team revolves around shields. And right now they're a little bit on the lower end of damage, so hopefully this can move them up a little bit in that aspect. And then we have the second part here. Additionally, Alva can convert a portion of any enemy HP into a special shield cost Frost Loom. So she's turning enemies' HP, giving them a shield itself. So it takes away some of their HP from what I'm understanding here, and then we'll convert it to a shield instead, which, when you look through the kit, will make sense as to why you want them to have a shield versus HP. And so we have her entire kit here. Let's look at her passive first. I always like to look at the passive because it usually ties together the entire kit. So her passive is Frozen at Touch. And so the amount of shields applied by allied units is increased. So, I mean, Suomi's shield is just going to get even beefier. Macchiato is going to be great. I mean, it's just going to be massive shields all around. And then when allied units gain a shield, the shield is converted into a Frost Ward Barrier with the same shield value. So nothing changes other than it now is considered a Frost Ward Barrier, which has a specific mechanic behind it. And then at the end of the action, Alva gains Combat Preparation and Confectance Index. After launching an interception, Alva gains Confectance Index. So she does interception attacks. That's going to be how she can get Confectance Index for her skills, or what else might need it. So then we have the Frost Ward Barrier, which she's converting all shields to. Considered a shield, when the holder deals freeze damage, the damage is increased based on the amount of shield held. When the holder is attacked, inflicts frozen on the attacker. This effect is considered as Frost Barrier. So that is quite massive. We'll have to see the actual numbers on that, but that could be quite significant in damage increase, making Suomi that much better, Macchiato, all of them. And so we'll have to see. And then it has CC tied to it, which is an extra little bonus there. Let's go ahead and get to the normal skills. Now we have basic attack. It just looks to be a physical attack, normal attack, nothing special there. Heart of the Snow Wolf is first skill. Alva enters support mode and deals freeze damage to the target. That's nice. Support mode. Freeze damage dealt by allied units is increased. Alright, that's all of the ice team. Alva's critical rate is increased. 4 enemy units within range use their active attack. Alva launches interception, dealing freeze damage, and converts a portion of the damage into Frost Ward Barrier that is granted to all allied units. So just like Suomi, she can put shields on everyone too. So it's seeming like you put your Suomi shields up. If an enemy comes in, damages those shields, she's going to be able to do a counterattack and re-up those shields. So you're always going to have your shields topped up. I mean, the ice team is being built to be the most defensive team in terms of they just have shields up at all times. They just don't take damage. We'll have to see how much her passive converts that to damage, though. So really nice there. We have her second skill here, which is an active AoE summon. Consumes all Confectance Index. So I'm going to guess this is a very expensive skill, and this is what probably all of the Confectance Index is tied to, is this skill here. Based on the amount consumed, it deals AoE freeze damage to the selected enemy target and all enemy targets around it. In addition, it summons Cryogenic Stinger. So it says summons. So is this an on-field summon that is treated like others for like boss mechanics that require you to have a certain amount of entities on the field? That automatically gives you one advantage with the ice. That's one thing the ice did not have currently. You have Nikita for Hydro that brings a summon. You have Laney with the physical. You have a couple others. You have Papa Shaw with hers. So now Ice has a way to cover that mechanic for any like bosses or that with this summon. Potentially, we'll have to kind of see how it's treated in game, because we know like Springfield's does not count. But then consumes a portion of combat preparation to get extra command. So then after doing this, she could get extra command to be able to do another skill or ultimate. Cryogenic Stinger inflicts hypothermia to all surrounding enemy units within range. Before enemy units within range are attacked, consumes a portion of its HP and converts it into Frost Loom. When an enemy unit's shields are broken around Alva, Alva launches one attack, dealing freeze damage. So when you break their shields with this, that's what she can do. So she can do an extra attack against them for some freeze damage. So that's really nice there. And that's a mechanic tied to that Frost Loom, which is pretty good. Hypothermia, freeze damage taken is increased. Just all around good there. Frost Loom, considered a special shield, can coexist with other types of shields and is not consumed first. When broken, inflicts frostbite and dismay on the holder. So just a big CC on the enemies with this one. Frostbite, freeze damage taken is increased. Dismay, movement is reduced to 1 tile. Attack is reduced by 30%. And stability damage is dealt is reduced by 4 points. I mean, it's just more CC / tankiness. And so I can see this being very good with the new EX mode that has had like very unique mechanics. And it has changed up based on new characters that come out. And so there might be difficulties where you kind of want this team together to beat it. We'll have to see. Because realistically, tankiness has not been as needed with Gunsmoke Frontline, but they are adding more stuff into the game, as we saw with the CN update. So this very well become more important in the future as difficulty increases on content, which is good to see. Because it's nice to have more than just a DPS check when it comes to content. So you have Requiem of Snowfields, which is the ultimate. Consumes... Okay, so we have another one that uses Confectance Index, so we'll have to see how they kind of tie together. Consumes all Confectance Index and deals freeze damage to the target based on the amount consumed. That's definitely got to be missing something, because it's very similar to this. So, definitely missing a lot of stuff here, but that's ultimately her kit. Seems like she's another way to put shields on teammates, converts the shields, or makes it where the shields can convert to damage plus on the units, and just more tankiness, more debuffs to the enemies for more CC. Overall, really good support unit. We'll just have to see how the numbers on it work out, because ultimately that'll be what decides how good she actually is. If it's very minimal, when it converts that shield to damage, then it might not be that valuable, because right now we don't need that level sustain. But maybe in the future we will, so we'll have to see. So we have keys. Snowfield Wanderer. When enemy units around the Cryogenic Stinger are inflicted with Frost Room, Frost Tiles are generated. So you can generate Frost Tiles that way, which is nice. I mean, you already get that from like Suomi and others, but just another way to generate them is good. Rear guard specialist at the start of battle, Alva gains a Confectance Index and combat preparation. Okay. So that's just kind of starting, ready to go with some of those skills. Support command, allied units with Frost Ward Barrier take reduced stability damage, so more tankiness. Late bloomer, Alva's attack is increased based on the amount of combat preparation consumed. Regroup and rally before using ultimate skill. Requiem of Snowfields dispels some buffs from the target. Oh, that's nice. Having a dispel, I mean, a lot of our bosses have had mechanics tied to dispels. So just another dispel, which is good. Bone chilling, enemy units around the Cryogenic Stinger take increased stability damage. That's nice. Being able to break stability is very useful. Mind's Eye, phase damage increased against enemy with shields, which, as we know, she can apply onto them. So that's nice there as well. We have the gun here, the AN-94, her limited gun here, Snow Mirror Concerto. When all allied units deal freeze damage, critical damage is increased, so crit damage increased. And if they are shielded, damage dealt is increased, which tied to her mechanics. So this gun is really kind of regulated to her. If at the start of action, if the holder has max HP, gains a random buff. Ice team, with the amount of shields they're doing, They tie a lot of stuff to max HP, and that's because it's very easy to hold it when you have shields up at like all times. So very nice. And then we have, I mean, there here is just kind of showing her skin that they're coming out with for her. A full-on suit looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. But that is it. That is Alva's kit. It looks pretty good. Now we just need to see the numbers and see how it works out in practice. And anything that might be kind of just bad translations at this point. But that's it for now. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.